Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody is doing well. Today is July 26, 2022, and we are starting our regular school committee meeting today at exactly 7 o'clock, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's happened too many times. But we're going to jump right into things. I'd like to start with a moment of silence. It's going to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And we did have a special dedication for the moment of silence, and I wanted to ask Mrs. Dunn if she might be able to speak to the dedication today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'd like everyone to say a prayer and think of Mr. Tom Hawes Sr. Mr. Hawes was a long-time guidance counselor and school adjustment counselor in the city of Peabody for over 30 years. And he touched the lives of a lot of students, helped a lot of people. He had such a gentle way about him, and he was a lot of fun to talk to. If you didn't know him as a guidance counselor or through the schools, you'd know him from his work on his ice cream truck, Tom's Ice Cream Truck. And he went around for, again, almost 30 years on that. He is survived by his wife, and they were ready to celebrate their 65th anniversary, and 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. And he will be missed. He will really be missed. He contributed a lot to the schools, and anyone that knows him will tell you that. So if you could hold him in your heart, and we will dedicate this moment of silence to Mr. Thomas Hawes Sr.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and I wanted to welcome our new Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Mark Higgins, who's with us tonight. Great to have you, as long as Dr. Chris Lord, who's here at every meeting, and of course, Dr. Vidala. A lot to cover today, and I want to start first with our minutes. We do have minutes from the June 28th, 2022 regular school committee meeting. I'd open those up for discussion.
Motion to accept and approve regular school committee meeting minutes of June 28th, 2022.
Second.
Great, thank you. You've heard the motion by Mrs. Carpenter for approval of the regular school committee meeting minutes of June 28, 2022, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. Roll call vote for approval, please.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
Mr. Hockman. Mr. Swanson. Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I did want to mention that we are being broadcast live on PAT as always. Our minutes are being recorded by our recording secretary, Leanna Harris, and we do have the Facebook platform, and if anybody would like to contribute or speak during our public participation, please again raise your hand, and we will bring you into the meeting. We have a few warrants here. I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Olympio, for some approval of bills.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 5091, dated July 26, 2022, in the amount of $784,477.11, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Olympio. You heard the motion, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. For approval of warrant 5091, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 5095, dated July 26, 2022, in the amount of $174,244.53, subject to audit.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Olympio. You've heard the motion for approval of warrant 5095, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Roll call vote.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 5099, dated July 26, 2022, in the amount of $37,027.85, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 5099, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Roll call vote.
Mr. Olympio,
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Amico,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 5100 in the amount of $102,134.06, subject to audit.
Second.
You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 5100, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Olympio,
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Amico,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 5104 dated July 26, 2022, in the amount of $148,643.40, subject to audit.
Second.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant 5104, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Olympio,
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Amico,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Olympio. Next item, continued business. First item is the Welch School MSBA project update. Mrs. Dunn, any update that you want to provide tonight?
Sure. It's amazing. They've completed so much on that building already. It's really moving very, very quickly. I really want to compliment Consigli Construction. They are so accommodating and just trying to do everything possible to make this project really very, very smooth for the neighbors, for the schools, and they've just been wonderful to work with, in addition to Doran Whittier and Danisco. Consigli are right there on the premises at all times, so they're really doing a lot of just talking to the people. There's a lot of traffic that comes through the Welch by foot or by car. They have started taking out the core of the building, and it's just going very, very quickly. They have also worked with us, and we're working with the mayor. There'll be a vote coming to the school committee and then going to the city council that has been cleared with MSBA because of funding, being able to use federal funds on a project. Normally, MSBA would not allow that. But because of the current economic situation worldwide, and every school project that's going on right now is having trouble with procurement, the normal schedule of obtaining supplies and any of the needed materials for the buildings is off on every project. It's added cost. So they're working on that. They have, we will be getting, I think it's Thursday, the third round of bids on the biggest pieces of construction. And when those bids come in, we'll know much more about the final cost, but the MSBA is allowing school districts to be able to take a vote if you have to increase the cost, and they will reimburse us, that is huge. They are not going to normally they would take that money that you receive from the federal government out. They're not going to do that. So anyhow, that's coming. Again, it needs to go before the school building committee, which meets next Thursday, August 4th. And then school committee will vote, it'll go to the city council, they will vote, and then we will submit, and hopefully everybody will approve it, and then it will go to MSBA. So we're in good company with some projects, but one thing that MSBA has recognized is how careful Peabody is with the finances on these projects, and they really appreciate that, and they've worked with us. And Doran Whittier has been very good about guiding us through this process. So anyway, if anybody ever has any questions, always feel free. We're going to plan another neighborhood meeting and hopefully have some good visuals for everyone of what's happening on site. And it really is very, very different to see the school and see how quickly they can change things. So it's good.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Okay. Next item is superintendent's evaluation. I will have my report to present at the August 23rd, the next regular school committee meeting. I will have that report at that time. Okay, next is Superintendent's report. Dr. Vidala, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brief superintendent's report today. Two items on board, an update on the Welch School. What we wanted to do is just provide an update on where the students are going and some of the additional supports that we have in place, and then some summer updates about our summer programming, some of the athletic improvements, and a facilities update. Because there's been quite a bit of work going on throughout the summer, and I just wanted to get the committee up to speed on everything that's being done. So I will turn it over to Dr. Higgins, who has been working with some of the Welch families who are moving. He did work with them as the principal of the South School for a number of the kids that were going there, and then he is currently going to be working with them around the transportation and things like that. So, Dr. Higgins?
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. So as of this morning, the numbers you see on Dr. Vidala's report is where the students are going to schedule to go entering grade 4 and grade 5. Not surprisingly, the South School makes up about 2/3 of that total. The schools closest to the Welch have the highest numbers, Brown and Carroll. And so you can see at each of the grade levels, the total, and down the bottom also, total for grade 4, total for grade 5, and total number of students. And then here's a list of some of the supports that we were able to provide to the receiving schools. Just a list of some of the positions. Some of them came from the Welch School, working last year, a couple of classroom positions, and some of the additional supports, school adjustment counselors, and so forth. So there's a lot of supports going to the buildings where the school children will be arriving. And then two things I just want to point out quickly. One great event we had towards the end of the school year, we had a meet and greet for the students coming over to the South School. So we actually had them come over during the school day. They had a chance to see the classrooms that they're going to be going up to, meeting the grade level teachers, and most importantly, having some time outside with their grade level peers as they move into. And so that was a great chance to do that. I have spoken to a few of the other schools about doing something, similar towards the beginning of the before we go back to school. Principals with the popsicles with the principal, maybe just a chance to see the school. So we're going to try to replicate something like that. Finally, today I sent out a survey to each of the students' families that we're going to be providing a bus from the Welch School that will bring them to their new assigned school. And so a survey went out today that the parents received. I've already gotten about 20 responses back, just went out this afternoon. And so what we'll do is we'll start to put that together, and once we have a sense of what that looks like, I mean, clearly you can see like the South School and the Brown being a bus run of those students from the Welch School to the South, to the Brown, at the end of the school day, back to the Welch School. And so the idea is that as a parent, try to make it easy for them. If they have say a second grader, fourth grader, I can go to the Welch School with the two of them, drop them off there. A lot of the families take advantage of the FKO program, so then it would really look similar to what they did last year, right? They might drop them off at 7:30. FKO will work with them so that when that bus arrives, the 4th and 5th graders can get on the bus. Then at the end of the day, same process. And so there's a high percentage that we know are signed up with, and we'll continue to monitor that. But that will really make the Parents' Day look pretty similar to pick up and drop off, and that's important for us. So I'll be able to do an update at the next meeting with specific numbers of the children that we'll have to provide busing for.
Any questions for Dr. Higgins? Mrs. Carpenter?
Thank you through the chair to Dr. Higgins. Actually, Dr. Vidala, can you go back one slide? Thank you. My question is, just looking at the numbers, when the highest percentage, like you said, was South, and so like for the South, are those kids gonna be blended, or are they gonna be in their own Welch classroom?
No, 100% blended. They're South School students, whether it's grade 5 or grade 4, and in the extra position now, so there'll be 4 classrooms instead of 3, as there is this year. So it's a chance to just
It'll be sprinkled throughout.
Yep. We're very aware of them coming from the Welch, but they're students at their new building, and that's most important. So once we get them set, I should have mentioned they got rolled over into Aspen. So all those students all 104 students are placed into their new school, and so we track that to support them. But in reality, those 62 students are 62 South School students, and they'll be blended
Okay.
in across. Yep.
And then I guess my other question is about the busing. So, has that already been worked out? It sounds like them with the bus company. Is there going to be like a time issue and just the logistics of it
So
all?
we met today with Lisa Connors from Transportation Department, and it's really going to depend on how many families take advantage of it. But
Okay.
right now, there's a bus that drops Welch students off at the Welch at 8:45. And so that bus can drop off, and then we'll have all the students waiting for the bus. They can pick up, and it can get back to the South School and then the Brown School. So we do plan on having it be a seamless run, and then in the afternoon as well. We figure that we'll do one bus for the South and the Brown, and then potentially another bus for Carroll and Center. And then if there are any, we have some smaller runs that go across town for kids, you know, so if the two students at the West need a bus, we have a smaller van type bus that can get over there, and we'll be able to bring them as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about the West, the Burke, the McCarthy. We have a little
Yep,
bit.
so we want to work with families. Some of them chose that because they work on that side of town or they go that way anyway.
Okay.
So, you know, some families want to provide the transportation, but we want to make sure that we're providing free transportation to anyone that has been displaced by the construction.
And one other question in regards to transportation, and I'm not sure if I missed this from a meeting. Did the applications already go out? Did we already set the fees?
Yes, yep, the applications are out. I think we talked about that today. So Dr. Higgins was over there earlier this week too.
Yes, so you mean not in regard to this project, right?
just in
Correct.
general.
Yes, those have been sent out, and we're going to do a robocall next week as a reminder. August 16th, I believe, is the deadline. So they've been trickling in a pretty decent amount, and then typically in August, I think we see a bigger response. But I think we'll do a reminder to.
I was going to say
Get
that we
that next
generally need to send something out and let them know. And then, is it on the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we plan on next week being August 1st, sending out a robocall as a reminder to make sure.
That'd be
that everybody
great.
gets that.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. Mr. Olympio?
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Vidalis, so were the applications emailed, or is that something that,
Did that go out through transportation?
The email went out that the parents do have to go to the website. That's where they're available
Okay.
to down. Yes,
okay, so they're not receiving something in the mail?
they were not mailed out that I'm aware of. No,
Okay.
I
They
believe
were
the
just mailed out.
notification went out
A
by
notifi-
email. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, and they have to go on the website. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olympio. Any other questions? Okay.
Yep. And if anybody's having issues with transportation, they can come to 27 Lowell Street. We'll help them in person, you know, so. Okay, so if there's nothing further on the Welch, just a couple updates in the summer. Our schools have been filled this summer, which is wonderful to see. We have a number of programs, both academic and non-academic programs. I did mention some of them at the last meeting, but just to kind of go through, we have, I think, close to 1,000 students in academic programming. So between our special education extended school year, our English learner education programs that we have at the Carroll, the Higgins, and the high school, we have some elementary reading support going on at the Carroll. The Higgins Middle School is doing some 4-credit summer programming. Our high school program is doing credit recovery. The Peabody Learning Academy and the Peabody Prep, our virtual school, also have students engaged over the summer. So there's a lot of kids earning credit and doing some academic and enrichment over the summer, as well as our non-academic program. So For Kids Only is running 2 different sites this year, and they're working with our students. We have our Peabody Rec Department has been running a number of camps and clubs in all the schools and at the playgrounds and our parks. We have some summer athletic camps that are going on through track and field and the basketball programs, as well as football. And I do believe there are some soccer and lacrosse programs running this summer as well. One thing I'm really excited about is we're bringing back the Essa County summer camp program. So it was like the DARE program that the police ran. The last time that happened, I think those students are entering 8th grade, the last group. So these are 4th graders entering 5th grade. It started this week here at the Higgins. It's all of Essex County. The police department comes in. They have a number of students who help out, and then it's rising 5th graders are attending. So we're really happy, very thankful to Chief Griffin and his team for bringing that back. and very excited. And of course, we have the Summer Eats program, which is going on, and thank you to No Child Goes Hungry in Peabody for supplementing that. And I know we talked about that at our last meeting, that's going to be enhanced next year as well. So a lot of summer programs, thousands of kids in Peabody engaged in that, and it's always great to see their smiling faces. In terms of work, have one slide on our athletic improvements. There's a lot of things going on, as well as our facilities upgrades. So we have some updates to the high school weight room and fitness center. We partnered with Gronk Fitness to get this work done. The floor installation is happening this week, and we had, so they're doing the decals on the walls as well. So we expect that to be done this week, and then the first week or second week of August, all of the equipment will be delivered. And at the next meeting, I'll bring some pictures, and you can see the updated fitness center. But that's really going to help our student athletes, as well as our students in their phys ed classes will be able to do a lot more work. So we're very excited about the new fitness center that will be in place before the start of the fall season. We also are looking to upgrade the stadium public address system, and so we have a sound system inspection on July 28th. So we've talked to a number of people in the boosters and of course on the school committee who are very excited about this. What we've noticed is that the announcements are okay, but anything that's prolonged or singing, the sound quality at the stadium is just not up to where it needs to be. And so we think that the speaker system is outdated, so we'll be working on that so that we can have a higher quality sound system. And so again, I'll bring those updates at the next meeting. The upper field tower lights, we do anticipate completion by September 1st. So they've identified all the bulbs that need to be replaced, and we're just working with the outside vendor because they're 100 feet high. So they need a special lift that can go that high. And so we are expecting the tower lights on the upper fields to be completed by September 1st. And we just received a timeline for our Huddle video system. So Huddle is online software program that videotapes athletic games, and it can be used by the coaches to do some film sessions, but it can also so it's a coaching tool, but it's also a benefit to our student athletes because it can put together highlight films and things like that for their college recruitment videos. And so there's a lot of different opportunities. So I wanted to thank the mayor for his work on that. He's been instrumental in making sure there was some little concerns around like where should the video be mounted and some of the sound system. And so the mayor and his office have been great about helping us get over some of those hurdles. So we're very excited to see these athletic improvements. Let me pause here. Is there any questions on this? Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. Mrs. Carpenter?
I have a very important question. Gronk Fitness. Do I even have to ask?
Yes, it's Rob Gronkowski and his family.
It
yes.
is?
Yep, so Gronk, and they do a number of it, and they came in as the lowest bid. So we went out to bid, we had 3 bids come in, and Gronk Fitness was the lowest one. And so it's his father and 2 of his brothers that are really working on it. So it's Rob Gronkowski's funded it, but it's run by his father and his 2 brothers. And they've done a great job, and they've have state-of-the-art equipment, and they have access to all the stuff, and so it is the Gronkowski family. So it's pretty cool for our students to be able to.
I think he retired. Does it come with a special appearance afterwards, or?
I hope so. We can see. We can work on it. We might get a stand-up cutout, but we might need to raise the ceilings though. He's pretty tall.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate all of this work. This is important work, as all of us know, because we've all spoken about it. Our athletic programs continue to bring a lot of pride to our city, and I think in a number of sports we're set up for some outstanding seasons, and we have a number of players, student athletes, that are going to be playing college ball here, and that's why this Huddle program is very important to allow to assist those families, those student athletes, in reaching out to colleges. As a recruiting tool, as a self-evaluation tool. It's a whole number of ways this can be utilized. And a number of schools have started to implement it, and I think will be a great fit for Peabody, to continue to invest in that to try to help our student athletes. So we did start, or we're in the process of starting I was still working on the title, but it's going to be a Captain's Council for senior leaders, not just captains, but senior leaders that are going to be working with me and with our athletic director Dennis DeRoches and Dr. Vidala and Brooke Randall and her team and everything. So we're going to be working with students. I'll have more details on this at our next meeting, but a couple of parents have been instrumental in helping with that. And we're going to be setting up a number of programs for us and speakers for our student athletes regarding social media, regarding just working their way through the recruiting process, applying to schools, and sportsmanship, a whole number of different topics that I think will be a valuable asset for our students and for our coaches. And we'll be presenting that in more detail as to what our plan's going to be. But we have some wonderful programs and things that I think we can bring to continue to help our students as best we can. So I'm excited about that and look forward to working with our students, student athletes on that as well. So these are important projects, and I really feel good about where we're at with them, but certainly more work to be done to make sure we're ready for the start of the athletic year and the start of the school year. So I know we'll have further updates at the next meeting.
Yes, and we have, one more page of updates, just facilities in general. So, of course, the Welch School is up and running, and they've done a number of things, and so I'm excited to see the progress there. But there are also a few new things going on as well that I wanted to just bring the attention of the committee. The center school has been in desperate need of a PA system upgrade as well. And, it's really becoming a safety concern if the all calls can't go out to different parts of the building. So we've gotten our quotes, and I talked to Jim Hafey about this on Monday, and, we plan on having a full upgrade on that system so that all areas of the school will be able to hear the announcements and the bell schedule at the center school. So that will be done. We did the Carol last year, and we plan on doing the center this summer. The South School is getting a new boiler as part of their ongoing work this summer. The Peabody High School, the locker rooms and bathrooms. So today I was able to send a late communication to the committee. The mayor and I met with Jim Hafey yesterday in our facilities department, and he was able to go and write a detailed report of all the bathrooms and locker rooms and the upgrades that will be done before the start of the school year. So it's about a 4-page report that we plan on addressing all of these items prior to the start of school, and then bringing that back at the August 23rd meeting so that you'll have an update on it. But you have a list of all of the areas that they have identified that they will be fixing. And so it's a number of toilets, sinks, door locks, the stalls, making sure the stalls are appropriate. And so, this is something I know has been something that all the committee members have discussed, and we wanted to make sure that you had a list of exactly what was being done and a timeline to make sure that it gets done. In addition, we have the security cameras. That is on pace to be done before the start of the school year. We have a full district-wide phone system upgrade that will be integrated in with the city's phone system so that we can just use the 5-digit calling numbers to go between city departments. And that will also allow us to have record our phone calls as they come in case there is, a threat or something that we need to record, and we can share that with the police. We also have the ability to receive phone calls mobilely if we need to, again, in a case of emergency. So we're excited about that. And then keyless door access in all of our buildings. So this similar to the keyless entry that we have here at the Higgins with the ID badge, we'll have that in all of our schools. And so that's something that we're working with the police as well, so we can have one of those cards if there's an emergency in a cruiser and they can get in and not have to wait. So anything that we can do to save time and have that ability. The other piece about this is that doors will not have to be propped anymore, and if we'll know who's coming in and out of the building. If someone loses their badge, we can automatically turn it off. So it's not like losing a key that you'd have to rekey the whole system. If they lose their badge, we just deactivate that, and we can print another one with a different serial number. So it's a much more cost-effective method, but it's also a lot safer. So we have a lot of facilities upgrades, and I know especially the locker room and bathroom one is something that the committee has talked about. So we finally have a list of exactly what's going to be done, and we have a timeline. So a lot of work being done, but again, thank you to the mayor and his team for supporting this work and ensuring that we have a timeline and we're making sure that it gets done. So with that concludes the superintendent's report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. Any questions from committee members? Mrs. Dunn?
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Vidala. One of the things that I'd like to bring up, I appreciate the list of the facilities update, and I have not had a chance to really look in depth at the late communication. However, I would like to say that at PVMHS, improvements to the locker rooms and bathrooms are necessary, and the list we've received does seem to revolve around just the bathroom issues. But there are plumbing issues throughout the building that if you're going to fix toilets, you may as well fix the sinks in the labs. They need to be repaired just as badly. If you look at the list of needs at the high school, we have significant needs in the classrooms, and I would like to request that we've got this, which details bathrooms at the high school. I would like to see the plumbing needs in the science classrooms, when those will be attended to. And again, in my opinion, it makes sense if you're going to go through the floor and do the plumbing, hit everything on that floor that needs to be repaired. But I'd also like to see a list of the other repairs that are needed and when those can be anticipated as far as being taken care of. There were a lot of electrical issues that were brought to our attention. There's no floor in classrooms in D House. They're down to plywood now. Is there any interim repair we can do there, or is there any anticipated work we can do there? The locks on different doors. Now, I know the keyless door access is great. That's going to be district-wide. But there are classrooms and offices, at least at the high school, maybe in the other schools too, I'm not sure, but that need to make sure that they are secure for confidentiality reasons, for safety reasons. There's a whole slew of them. So we need about 4 more of these reports by August 23rd, and I would like you and the mayor to please speak with Mr. Hafey and get those reports to us, because I'd like to see what we can get done before the school opens. The goal, I know we were told it's, August 23rd to get this list of plumbing issues done, but there's a lot more that needs to be done, and I know they can take care of it, and I hope to hear some news on that. And I'd also like to request that the school committee be allowed to come up and check on it, and I am using the word check on it, I'm sorry, because we get so many calls from the public, and they expect school committee members to know this. And we explain to people about the process of, bringing things to the proper channels. But if a school committee member wants to go up and talk to someone or see something, I would like to request that we be allowed to do that. I think it's important.
Well, a couple of things, Mrs. Dunn. Anytime. I mean, I don't think you need to request. You just tell us when you're coming and we'll have the building open to you. So I don't think that's necessary, like in terms of making a request. I don't want it to, anytime you want. I mean, that's automatic in your position. But I want to be clear, and I want to temper expectations, Mrs. Dunn. We're not going to have all of this work done by August 23rd. And if you need 4 additional reports, we're not going to have those for you either. What we met on yesterday is the focus is bathrooms, locker rooms, and locks. Doors, stalls, all of that. That work has to be done before school opens. There is other work that needs to be done. You're 100% correct. It makes sense to me that what we're doing, because we had a plumber there this morning. That's what the kind of report encompasses, is a plumbing inspection of the building, but as well as some door locks and things. But it makes sense to me to do the labs as well. So we'll make sure that's a part of this. But I do want to temper expectations. We have a dying building. It is a building that is struggling. There's no way we're going to keep up with the repairs and needs of that building. That's why we're so vocal in trying to get a new building. We need a new building desperately. We are going to have to just continue to fight to make sure this building lasts as long as we need it to. And, there's going to be money that has to be put in to make sure that happens. This work will be done. I just don't think it's going to be done. This work here will be done that we've presented will be done before school starts. But I know there's other needs as well. That's going to be hard to do all of that work prior to the start of the school year. I think we can give you some time frames on other work during the course of the fall and into the winter that we'll be able to do as well. But to me, the focus we talked about, with our facilities team was bathrooms, locker rooms, which are unacceptable right now. We need those better. We need better facilities for our students and for our teachers and staff and everybody. And door locks, and I think you explained it well, why there's some real need for that, or a demand for that. So that's where the focus is gonna be, and then there's gonna be some other things as well. The plumbers are gonna be involved, and we'll get some additional reports. But I do want to temper expectations. That's why we need this school, a new school, so desperately, because the building is just really falling apart, and it's a source of frustration to all of us. I get the same calls you do. I have 2 daughters there. I hear it quite a bit about some of the needs. I think we have to take it step by step, and the bathrooms, locker rooms, and door locks and stall locks are #1 priority. And then we can get some more information. We'll get information over to you, certainly, but I just wanted, again, to kind of temper expectations as to where we're at. But this is, I can tell you, the #1 priority for the facilities department right now is bathrooms, locker rooms, and locks and stalls and things of that nature. But we'll get more information. Yeah, that D-house is...
And if I may, on D-House, we did speak about D-House. I had a meeting with Simon Youth Foundation, who works with us with the PLA, but also with the community school. So they've been working with the community school since 2020, and they're coming to do some tours. They have a new executive director, and we talked about some of the fundraising that we can do and to upgrade D-House, specifically, around, what that looks like and the experience that the kids have. So that is something that we will be doing, as soon as we can. So these are things that are on the radar, and we want to make sure that we start with small lists and say, you have to do this. We did create that list in the spring, and it's huge. And we want to make sure that these things don't get done, and they don't have a list saying, oh, well, we can't get to that. Well, you can get to this, you're going to do this, and when you're done with it, then we're going to have another list, and we'll do that. And so we just want to take it step by step, but everything that you mentioned is something that needs to be done, and we're just trying to prioritize it so we can make sure it does. Thank you.
Everything on that list was valid and real, so, yeah, that's what it is. I just want to make sure we know where we stand, what's the priority, and as long as we have a plan going forward. But, yeah, this will be a work in progress. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right. Thank you, Dr. Vidala. We'll go to public participation. Anybody here would like to come forward and speak? Seeing no one, anybody?
Nope, seeing none on the virtual platform.
Okay, we have no written communications today. We'll go right to subcommittee reports. Education, Mr. Amico.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Finance, Mr. Olympio.
Nothing new to report.
Okay, school safety.
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Athletics and wellness will hold. Quality and standards, Mrs. Dunn.
Well, honestly, it's nothing to report, but I'm sliding this in here, and I hope you'll indulge me. I would like to nominate Marjorie Macarelli as Administrative Assistant of the Year, and I just need your vote. And I thought this was the only time I could do it. Hopefully she's not watching us, and we might be able to surprise her. But it's an honor she deserves. It's with MASC, and they sent out a memo asking for nominations. And I know it would be unanimous, but I felt I needed to bring it to all of you. And I would like to ask for your help. So making a motion that we nominate Marjorie Macarelli for Administrative Assistant of the Year Award. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. That's
Thank
a
you.
terrific idea.
And
well
then-
deserved. So motion made by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter.
If you could send me comments of why Marge should win, and I will put them all together. I'll send out a letter to everyone. We can circulate it, make sure that it meets with your approval. Dr. Vidala, I want to include you too, Dr. Lord, and we'll put that together. If we're able to keep it a secret from Marge, that would be amazing. But Mr. Mayor, you too, and Darrell Ann, we'll put it together and I'll submit that, and I think she'll win.
That's terrific. All in favor? Thank you. I did want to mention, you may have seen at the last city council meeting, or may have seen in the news, but I did want to give an update on our legal department. You may know that Adam Buckley, who's been with us for the last 11 years, mostly doing work on the city side, primarily doing work on the city side. He took a new job with the Peabody Municipal Light Plant as their attorney, which is a great opportunity for him, and still very active and involved in the city. So the last couple of months, we've been kind of operating down a little bit, even though Adam's been helping us with some specific areas. But we did hire a new assistant city solicitor. Her name is Liz Lashway. Outstanding background. She was a city solicitor, assistant city solicitor in the town of Cambridge for about 10 years, then went over and worked with the ABCC in the state, and now she's opened up her own private practice, and she's been operating the last few years. We think her background fits very well with what we need. Primarily, she's going to be working with, on city side, zoning, and a number of city contracts and things of that nature. But I anticipate that that will allow Dawn Kahn, who's our city solicitor, to again focus a lot on union and school activity and school issues that come up, which is primarily what he's been doing with us for a number of years. But I just wanted to kind of give an update. I'm very excited. I think Liz has an amazing skill set and is going to really help in areas that we need assistance. And we're fully staffed now, so I think that'll help all of us, city side, school side, all the different departments moving forward. So I think we have a great addition to the team. So just want to make sure everybody knew that. Have questions, please reach out. She started yesterday, and I think she's going to help us out a lot. So just wanted to fill everybody in on that, and if there's any questions, again, just let me know. All right, parent and student advisory boards. Mrs. Dunn?
Nothing to report this evening.
Okay. Building and grounds will hold. Special education parent advisory board, Mr. Olympio.
Nothing new to report.
Okay. City council legislative delegation will hold, and redistricting will hold as well. Unless you have a report? Okay. All right, so our next regular scheduled meeting is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. I anticipate that we're going to have a large agenda that night as we lead up to the new school year. Items for that meeting can be handled in the regular course of business. Just submit them to Dr. Vidala and I. We can get those added to the agenda, and appreciate everybody's work today. And can't believe the school year is not that far off. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session with the intent to not return.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Carpenter, for the motion. Seconded by Mr. Amico. All in favor? It's a vote, and we'll call this meeting to an end. Thank you.